Hello and welcome to Knit in the City. I am Rebecca, the city is Malmö, and today I am back with a monthly roundup of May, where I talk about what I have finished, what I'm working on, and what my plans for the next month are going to be. It is already the 5th of June. I was supposed to have done this last week, but unfortunately I left my only FO at a different location, so I had to postpone that. I would like to start by thanking you for watching my capsule wardrobe episode so intently. I was overwhelmed by all the people watching this video, and I'm actually planning on making a part 2 where I start the process of knitting my own capsule wardrobe. And in this episode I was thinking to go through a process where I decide what I think looks good on me, like how I figure this out, and from that making a template that I can use when I choose my next knitting project. Because up until now it's been, oh my god, that's lovely, I want to make that, without really thinking so much about what looks good on me. I mean, I have been considering it, but it has not been like a it has not been a big part of me choosing my next pattern, is what I was trying to say. Yes, I am also going to not quit, but just leave to the wayside for a while the heavy winter projects, because it's way too warm to be covered in like a rustic wool yarn at this point. So I will pick those back up when it starts cooling down, which could very well be in July. I mean, if we're unlucky. But yeah, I'm gonna put them to the side for a while and just concentrate more on summer knitting or smaller projects like socks and hats and things like that. So yeah, before I dive in, I'm just gonna say a little something about what I'm wearing. This is the Kuutar top by Sari Nordlund, and I have made this in Sandnes Mandarin naturel, which is 100% cotton yarn. I made this last summer. I'm not gonna stand up because, you know, mess, but I will put a picture of the full garment on the side so that you can see it. This is, as you can see, not really a bra-friendly top, but yeah, and I have to wear a bra. But yeah, I still really liked it, and I do wear it sometimes, because summer kind of forces you to wear things you're not entirely comfortable with because it's warm. I mean, during all of winter I'm like, oh, spring, summer, come, this is so bad. and then I forget all about the sweating, the showing off of parts that you would rather hide just because you have no choice. But yeah, I'm not here to complain about the weather. It's really lovely, sun is shining. There is actually a breeze outside, which is super nice. So yeah, that was the weather section. Now I'm going to get into the episode. The only finished object for May, seems like every other month I have a lot of finished objects, and every other I have hardly any. But this is the tan top by Helga Isager, and this I have made for my youngest daughter. I also made the shorts, so now both my girls have a set of shorts and top. Yeah, and this is a rather straightforward knit until you reach the armhole, because then you start doing different things on this side and this side on different ratios, and even on the same side it switches. So once you get there you have to pay attention. It's not difficult, it just takes you paying attention. And also I had to write down things and tick them off and like all kinds of, but I mean, it's totally worth it because the garment is really lovely. And this is also knit in one of my favorite summer yarns, which is Sandnes Line. and it just gives this really lovely drapey fabric. There was supposed to be a bit of a mesh thing here, but I omitted that because she didn't want that. The back is a lot easier than the front. But yeah, not much to say about this. I think it's gonna get a lot of wear through the summer, unless the weather gets a lot colder. So then to my May plans and what I made of them. I decided the UFOs I was going to work on was Vardag by... no, that's not it. Who made that? Let me think. She calls herself Tornedalsfrun. Kajsa Vuorela. Yeah, sorry about that. This is a Järbo pattern, and it's a free pattern. It wasn't when I bought it, but it is now. And I have shown this on the channel a few times. I have not knit on it, so I've never had anything to show that wasn't already there when I started the channel. Yeah, I do love this yarn. This is Svensk Ull by Järbo, and I can show you one of these skeins. It looks like this. Such a lovely color, and it's been dyed on a gray base, which gives it this lovely color again. But yeah, this is quite a rustic yarn, but it's still really nice to the touch. What can I say? This is a brioche pattern, and it is quite a clever construction. I don't remember, it's a few years ago since I cast it on, so shame on me. But I don't remember exactly how you did it, but you can see that there is a really nice little thing here on the shoulder. I did start knitting one of the sleeves a while ago, quite a while ago actually, but then I am not a brioche pro, so I'm not good at knitting brioche at all actually. So when time came to do the decreases for the sleeve, they just turned out really ugly. So ugly that I couldn't live with it. So I ripped out the whole sleeve, and that's where we're at. I have not continued. I was going to do that this month, but then it got really warm outside and inside, and I just didn't feel like picking up this heavy, warm, rustic wool garment. Has really nice slits here on the sides. So this is one of the projects that I am going to let rest. It has been resting for a long time, but I mean, this is going to have to rest until the autumn is back. And then I will definitely knit on it again. I mean, I don't know how many times I've been saying this, but yeah, I will knit on it because I want it. It's so pretty. Okay, yeah. The other UFO I was going to knit on is the Boyland socks by Caitlin Hunter. And these socks have been haunting me in my nightmares. I mean, there is nothing wrong with the pattern. There's nothing wrong with the way they look. There's nothing wrong with the yarn. The only thing that's something wrong with is the knitter, because I made every mistake that you can. And I actually promised you that I wasn't going to show you these socks again until they were either finished or frogged. Well, if they were frogged, there's nothing to show, but if I finish them, I will show them again. So since I made this promise, I can't show them to you, but I can put a picture of the picture from the book, because this is from 52 weeks of socks. So I can put a picture from the book so that you can see what they look like if you haven't been through this like horrible ordeal with me. Just quickly, what I did was, this has a short row heel, and I know that my foot is too deep to wear a short row heel. So I knit the short row heel, I tried it on, it was too narrow, I ripped it out and made a heel flap and gusset. But But before that, I think I started knitting on sock number 2. Then the pattern, the 2-color pattern that is on the foot, I forgot to make it until it was too late. So then the sock was, I think this is sock number 2 now. Then that sock got way too long. So then I had to rip that back, and that's where we're at right now. That's all I'm going to say about this sock today. And the next is the whips that I chose to work on in May. And the first one is the tan top that I just showed you. That's done. Happy days. The second one, not so happy. This is the sweater that my mother bought the yarn for and asked me to knit for the girls. I have made one of them, so little sister has this sweater already. This is from a magazine that my mother has, and it doesn't really have a designer name on it. The sweater itself also doesn't have a name, so I can just show it to you. And this is like a Swedish magazine, so yeah. The one I knit for little sister was actually supposed to be for big sister, but it came out too small. So now, and I knit the biggest size. So now I have had to add 1 repeat of this color work pattern when I knit the second one. The body is done. I mean, I haven't actually knit on this at all in May, but the first sleeve has been started. This is the thing with me. I mean, many people say that buying yarn is one hobby and knitting with it is another one. For me, it's like making plans for my knitting is one hobby and knitting is a different one, and usually they're not connected. Yeah. I still really enjoy making plans, so I'm not gonna stop doing that. But it's just gonna be like, when I talk about my plans, you're going to notice that I'm not gonna follow through with them. I am, however, going to do other things that I will make progress on, and I will talk about that a bit later. But yeah, that was the whip that I have not been working on, like I said I would. The other, yeah, I also had some new cast-ons, and this you actually haven't seen. And I finally cast on the Darjeeling blouse, and I also, I mean, I will let you see this up close. It is a bit hard to show because the edges roll like crazy, but and this is knit in 100% sport weight cotton called Emma by Falkgarn. This is an old Swedish brand. I mean, I bought this yarn like, I don't know, when I just started knitting like 15 years ago. So this has just been lying around, but it has a really nice color that I think works well on me. And I actually only used 200 grams of this. So that was 2 balls. And this was a really fun knit. It is a bottom-up knit, but you have to, and it said in the pattern that it was quite complicated, but it wasn't that bad. But you have to cast on, you could choose between different cast-ons. Either it's like a figure 8 or Judy's Magic, or you can do a provisional cast-on to make this edge. And then you do this feather and fan lace, which is super simple. And then it's just plain stockinette. And then you make this seam. It's not a seam because it's knit. And the shoulders look really nice, I think. So you make decreases on either side of the shoulder. I don't know if this looks like a saddle shoulder. I don't know if this is how saddle shoulders are supposed to be made. I don't think I've ever made a saddle shoulder before, but it looks like one, so let's call it that. The knitting is all done on this. I only need to buy some buttons and attach, and I have been clever enough to put some markers here so that I will know where to put the buttons. This has an I-cord edging, but this has to be heavily blocked for it not to roll. I mean, I hope I can get it to stay straight. The thing with it, I mean, I knit this a bit longer than the pattern told you to, and it is still very cropped. So if I was to knit it again, I would probably add a few rows on this. I do still want it to hit my waist, and it kinda does, but yeah, a few more rows would have been perfect. But otherwise, I am pretty happy with the result, and I will see what blocking can do for this. Yeah. So, rather quick, I think I made it in 2 weeks or something like that. Let's see, what else? Yeah, that was actually the only cast on plan that I had. What I wanted to finish was the tan top. I did. I wanted to finish the spring sweater, which I did not. And this is also going to get some rest until autumn is here, because this, I forgot to tell you, but this is Viking Alpaca Brise blow yarn, which is super hot. So I don't want to touch this until the temperature is a bit cooler. Okay, so my other FOs that I have been working on during May is, I actually picked up, and maybe I should show you the picture from the book, because this is not on Ravelry. This is the Fastos kofta, which means auntie's cardigan, by a Swedish designer called Maja Karlsson. She's also the head designer for Järbo yarns. And I have actually, I mean, if you've seen this before, you can see that I have knit quite a lot on this. Here is the progress keeper that I put. And so, I mean, I only have like 5 centimeters until I start making the raglan decreases. So yeah, I will show you what the finished cardigan is supposed to look like. So here you can see it. There is also a view from the back where you can mainly see the model's beautiful hair. And I will try to show you. This is like the best picture, I think, to see what it really looks like. So yeah, I've actually, so this is the fun thing about my process. I don't do what I plan to do, but I do something else instead. And this has also been lying around for a long time. So I'm actually really happy that I did this. I have knit this in Klippans tvåtrådiga, which is a pure wool yarn, a 2-ply. This is a lovely, like, purplish blue or bluish purple. And then the other one is, I never remember what this yarn is called. I have to think for a bit. This is a Finnish breed of sheep. It's a, I bought it from a Swedish yarn dyer. This is undyed. Well, I will put it on the screen, and it will also be in the box downstairs. But this is like a really lovely yarn. It is rustic, but it's still, you can see that it's quite shiny, and it has a softness to it, despite its rustic. I mean, it's both soft and rustic at the same time, so it's like the best of both worlds. Yeah. I think that this is also going to have to rest for a bit. I made a steek here, so you're supposed to cut this. which, I mean, it would have been impossible to knit this if there wasn't a steek, because knitting this back and forth would have been horrible. Yeah, not much more to say about that, I think. The next project I've been working on in May is the simple thing, and I will put the designer's name on screen because I cannot remember it right now. And this looks quite a lot like the Petite Knit Sophie scarf, only that it's wider. But it has this I-cord edging that you knit simultaneously with the scarf, and it is a garter stitch. I can show you the fabric up close. And I have made this in 2 super luxurious yarns, and it is the Knitting for Olive Merino. I don't have any of it left. This is all I have left, so I can't show you the balls. And the other one is the Isager silk mohair, which is like the softest silk mohair that I have ever touched. And I'm holding these together. I think this color is Cherry Blossom. I don't know what this color is called, but it is like a warm pink, like a bit, how do you say? Dusty pink was what I was looking for. And I knit until I ran out of yarn. So I was thinking, when I started this, I was thinking that I was going to use the 2 balls that I had, just knit half of it, and then just start doing the decreases. But the thing was that this was quite wide, and if I would have done that, I'm not sure. I mean, I could probably just get it around my neck once, and I do like to at least get 2 laps around my neck. So I decided to buy more yarn, like 1 skein each of this to knit the other half. So this is half the length, and then I'm gonna do the same with, but I mean, this yarn is not cheap, and I'm not supposed to buy yarn, at least not this yarn this expensive. So this is also something that will have to rest for a bit. Same with the next project. This is the BB Balaclava, and I will also put the designer's name on screen. This is for my youngest daughter, and she asked for a balaclava. I have made her a Sophie scarf with this exact same yarn, which is, and in the same color. And it is the Drops Fabel, the sock yarn, and it's the Drops Kid Silk, this mohair. And yeah, this is pretty straightforward moss stitch, or is it seed stitch? Yeah, one of them. You can see for yourself. And I'm almost finished with the head part. And then there's going to be a neck part as well. This yarn is not expensive, but I cannot buy it from any local yarn store here, so I would have to order it. And then there's a shipping cost that I don't want to pay. So every time I order, I have to order enough to not have to pay the shipping cost. And there is no excuse to buy all that yarn right now. So, and also she's not going to wear this until it gets cold. So this is another project that will rest. And now I feel like this is getting quite uninteresting. So I'm going to skip to some more exciting projects that I'm actually actively working on. Just covered in yarn over here. And the first one is, I did knit the retro buttoned dress, which is finished all but I have to buy buttons to sew on. I went to one fabric/yarn store and I couldn't find any buttons that I like, so I am going to visit my local yarn store that also has buttons and see if they have something that I will like. But in the meantime, I started making the retro button top. I'm looking down because I've lost a few stitches. they dropped off the needles. So I started making the retro button top from, okay, I will hold it up first. This is on quite a small needle, so it's a bit hard to show. This has the same edging as the dress. The sorry, moss stitch or seed stitch. I never remember which is which. The thing with this is what it was supposed to, this is also knit from the bottom up, just like the dress. This was supposed to be knit back and forth, and then you make the button bands and sew the buttons on this whole thing. But the dress is made in the round, and then you make this panel in the middle, from where you pick up stitches to make like a flap with the buttonholes on. And I thought that this was a great idea because I am a bit busty, which means if I have something that you need to button, there is often a little hole between my boobs. And if I just made this in one piece, that's not going to happen. So I decided to do this the same way as I did with the dress, which should work. I mean, I haven't come to the top part yet, so I don't know. But now it's going well. The yarn is Sandnes Line, and this is actually the same color as the tan top, but that was made from tynn line. This is also a really nice yarn. I do prefer the thinner yarn. I mean, I generally do prefer thinner yarns. They're just nicer to knit with, even if it takes a bit longer. But this is like quite nice soft fabric. And this is a cotton viscose linen blend. Same as the Drops Bell, which I made the dress from. But I feel like it is strange because they both have the same percentages of each of the fibers. But I do feel that the line is shinier and the bell feels a bit more dry to the touch. But yeah, what do I know? It's just an opinion. Yeah, this is what has happened up until now. The next one, yeah, this is a funny story. I have been wanting to make the outline tank by Jessie May Designs ever since last summer. I had a few balls of Sandnes Mandarin Naturel lying around. So I started making this looks really big. I think this probably would be a bit too oversized for my liking. But never mind. As you can see, I took out the needles and there's a reason why. You can also see that this is a bottom-up construction with a twisted rib. And then you make a yarn over in a few places here, and then when you get further into the project you will drop those stitches, and that is what makes the lines on this top. The reason I took out the needles was not just that I wanted to knit something else. It was mostly because I only have 4 skeins of this yarn and they're 50 grams. So I realized this is 2 skeins, and so I realized that I wouldn't have enough yarn, which I could have seen if I had properly read the instructions, because it says yarn amounts, but I'm being optimistic or reckless, whichever you prefer. But yeah, so I am going to have to rip this out and make some kind of tank top with this yarn instead. Maybe I need another Kuutar top. I don't know. We'll see. I do like the color though. It's a nice lavender color. But what I did was I actually did buy some yarn. But this was like a super cheap 100% cotton yarn. This really blows out. I had to put a lamp here. I mean, it is really sunny, but then I had to draw the curtains so I wouldn't get flooded by. You don't want to hear this. Okay. Yes. 100% cotton yarn. I made a beginner mistake. This is the kind of beginner mistake that I keep making over and over again, even though I think I'm being careful. So I started a new outline tank in this yarn, and this is a thinner yarn, and I bought more balls. I have 6 balls of this yarn, and this is actually more, this is the right kind of yarn for the pattern. This yarn is a little bit thicker than the pattern prescribes. But yeah, so I cast this on, started doing the twisted rib. I mean, that's not much to show, but what I wanted to show was, it's not just the rib that is twisted. The whole thing is twisted. So like, yeah. This has to be ripped out. I mean, I don't know. With all the experience that I have, I am still just too rash. I don't have the patience. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a beginner at heart. So I will rip this out, try again. Yes. I actually started a project that I was definitely not supposed to start. And this is the Lauder cardigan by Bea or Rebecca Clow. And I bought this pattern when it just came out. And I thought that this is great because I've been wanting to make a vest. I haven't actually made a vest I did make a vest for myself. I made a vest from Fabel knitwear. Ithilien is called. I actually did make it for myself, but when I finished it, I noticed that it was way too small, so I had to give it to my daughter. But this pattern includes 2 versions of a vest, a V-neck and a crew neck, and also 2 versions of a cardigan, a V-neck and a crew neck, which is great because I've been wanting to make a V-neck cardigan. I don't think I have a yes, I have one V-neck cardigan. That is too small at the moment. The sleeves are really, really tight. It's the Kerstin by Linnea Öhman. I can put pictures of the things. But yeah, so I started making the Lauder V-neck cardigan. Yes, and I'm making this in Drops Lima, which is a alpaca wool blend. And this has like a really lovely cable pattern. And you start at the back, and look at this. How pretty is that? And that, I guess, is going to be the shoulder. Yeah, as you can see, I've not come very far. I don't know, this could be one winter project that could actually carry on into the summer, because as of now it's still quite small, so it's not going to be super hot to work on this. I could actually manage, and I also feel excited about this because it's not just plain stockinette, which a lot of the summer garments are, or at least mainly stockinette. So yeah, I think that this is I'm going to stick to this for a little bit longer until it just gets too big and too warm. Yeah, okay. I did start one other project that I have been talking about for a long, long time and been excited about for a long, long time. And this is the Cumulus tee by Petite Knit. And I have not knit a lot of things from Petite Knit, and also the Cumulus tee has been around for a while, and I don't know why I haven't been tempted by this design until this summer. But here she is. And this is hard to, I'm gonna back this up a little bit because Okay. I actually think I'm gonna turn it off because the white just gets really glaringly white in this light. So yeah, I've not done that much because of the plain stockinette. Thank you. This is a new yarn for me. It's a Hjertegarn, a green cotton linen. So it's a cotton linen blend, which feels pretty nice to the touch. I actually found a new, I don't know if it's new, but I found a yarn shop here in Malmö that I hadn't been to before. And she had some Sandnes yarn and this Hjertegarn, which is a Danish brand, as you can see. And yeah, this was good price. So I wanted the Thin Line for this, but she didn't have it in white. And I really wanted to make a white v-neck t-shirt, which the Cumulus tee is. What can I say? You start from the bottom, no, not bottom. There have been so many bottom-up things. You start from the top, you make the raglan and the v-neck here. And eventually, it's actually not that far into the future, you get to start knitting in the round. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty simple knit, pretty mindless. You can take it out whenever. I'm really glad that I started it. I'm very excited to be finished with it and be able to wear it. That was all of the projects that I have been knitting on during May. And now I will talk to you a little bit about my plans for June. Exciting. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the UFOs that I have picked. And the first one is the Sarah by Sari Nordlund, which is a free pattern from the Witre website. And I have shown this a few times and not much has happened. I think I actually did knit a little bit on this during May, but not enough to be proud of. So you knit from the bottom up, back and forth, and you make the button bands while you are knitting the rest of the garment. And this is some kind of broken rib. This is the inside and this is the outside. This is also a v-neck, and you can see that there's supposed to be buttons, and you can wear it with the buttons on the front or on the back, so it's optional. I think it's v-neck both on the front and on the back. And this is like an old cotton yarn that I bought from a store that now has rebranded. They don't have this yarn anymore. I mean, I don't have much to say about this, but this is the UFO I will be working on during June. And I really hope that I can finish it because I'm so tired of it. This is like a really boring knit. It's going to be completely worth it once it's finished, but while I'm knitting on it, I'm so bored. Yeah, unfortunately. The other thing that I want to finish, and this is also an exception from the rule that I'm not going to knit any winter things. And this is Compass by Tinka Knits. And I don't think that I've knit on this since I showed it last time. This is knit in Vuorela Baby Merino, which is a superwash merino. And I think that these colors are not really great together in this color work. But this is for my daughter, and she said she was fine, she liked it. And she's probably going to use it when she's riding, so it doesn't really matter. This is just to keep her warm. This is a pretty thin yarn. I can show it to you. So it's not going to be as bad as like this project. And it's also merino, so I mean it's not the warmest kind of wool that you can, and I only have the sleeves left, so I will be putting in some work on this. I mean, if I follow the plans, which, yeah, we've talked about. But I think that this is doable. The whips that I'm going to work on are the 9 p.m. tank. I've been talking about the 9 p.m. tank for a while, but this is a bit, I mean, it is a bit annoying to knit. It's going to look really great once I'm done, I'm sure. But all of this double knitting, like around the armholes, here, on the front and the back, it is quite annoying. And I was supposed to start with a second armhole, and I really didn't feel like that. So, and this is the Yarn Wick Blenda Gotland, which is a blend between merino wool and Gotland wool. And Gotland is quite a rustic wool, but this blend is super soft, so you cannot feel any prickly stuff here. But it is a warmer yarn, so I'm not gonna wear this in the summer. I'm still gonna knit on it because it's a thin yarn and it's not, it's a kind of a small garment as well. So I'm thinking that this will be fine. But I'm not gonna wear it in summer. It's more of a layering piece for when it gets a bit colder. Yeah. The other thing that I had planned to work on during June was the Darjeeling blouse. And I mean, as you can see, there's not much work. I need to get buttons, sew them on, block the thing, and then just sew in the ends. I also have to close the holes under the arms, but I mean, these are small things. This is definitely going to be done. And then I can actually wear this because this is so summer friendly. Okay, the new cast-ons I had planned for June was the Cumulus tee that I already cast on in May, actually. So I did cheat a bit there. The other one is the square neck tank from Helene Beba, which I have been eyeing, and I think is really lovely. I do have yarn for it, which I of course forgot to bring, so I had to go get it. This is also Hjertegarn. This is called Lana Cotton, and it is a merino and cotton blend. Because I was thinking, if I'm going to make a ribbed tank top that is also quite fitted, it's not gonna look nice if I use a pure plant fiber. So you need something with a little stretch, something that can bounce back. And since this has 50% merino, I hope that that is going to work. The only thing about it, when I saw this in the store, I thought it just felt like it was a grayish white. When I see it in daylight, it just feels like it's beige. And beige really washes me out. So, I mean, I don't know. It depends on when you're looking at this, what it is. It could also be like, yeah, there's some kind of a white in here. I'm going to knit the tank top. I'm going to put it on and see what it looks like. And hopefully, I mean, it's not super beige, but it could be like a dirty white, which could work. But I'm not gonna know until I'm wearing the garment. So this is going to be a little bit of an experiment. But yeah, I have not cast this on yet, but that's what I want to do in June. And what I want to have finished by the end of June is the 9 p.m. tank, and that's it actually. That's what but actually I could, because when I did this it was the end of May. I also want to finish all the things with the Darjeeling blouse, so I can wear it, yes. And actually I could add the retro button dress to that, because it has been lying around. I think I finished that at the end of April. So it's been lying around without its buttons for a month now, which is shame on me. That is everything I had to talk about today. And if you're still here, thank you so much. I hope you have a really nice day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!